Welcome everybody. I hope everybody had a really wonderful holiday, and I know we did in our home, right boys? So we're going to focus in this lesson on vowels again, suffixes, al and ing, but we're also going to do other suffixes, but we're really focusing on these two suffixes in this lesson. So now we have stateless. Now, less means without state. So it's really important that you understand what your suffix means. We have paperless, without paper, stillness. So ness has a quality. It means a quality of, or a state of being. So a state of being still, a quality of being still. So let's look at voice. And we're going to add on a suffix, less, s, or ness. Now less means without. S though, it's forming nouns that apply to women and girls. This suffix onto something, you know that they're going to be talking about a woman or a girl, and it's a noun. What is a noun?
A person, place, thing, or idea.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a person, place, thing, or idea. It's something that you can often touch or feel. Obviously, you have concrete nouns, you have abstract nouns. So, and then we have ness. That is, do you guys remember? A quality of or a state of being. So, now knowing what your suffixes are, you add that on to voice. And you most likely wouldn't add on ess, voices. That wouldn't be. So you need to make sure you understand your suffixes, so you're adding on the right suffix. So we're going to add less onto there. And you have to follow the spelling rules when you add on suffixes. So our spelling rules are drop the E and add on your vowel suffix. Or doubling rule, look for your consonant, vowel, consonant before you do the doubling rule. Or the other rule is change the Y to I before you add on any suffix. So, but we're going to look here, we have a silent E, but we're adding on a consonant suffix, so we do not drop our E. We just add on our suffix, all right? Voiceless, without a voice. Now we have senseless, without sense. Thankless, without thank. Toothless, without a tooth. See how, look at adventurous, boys. Do you see this? See how this can be confusing? They are so close in spelling. This has the L and this doesn't. They mean different things. This is without adventure.
Is that like a girl who adventures?
Yeah, that is, exactly. An adventurous is a woman that craves being on an adventure or wants to be out there looking for an adventure. This is a woman. This is a noun. All right? So see how they could be a little bit confusing if you don't know your co-heiress. This is a woman. That's an heir. And co means with. So they are heirs with somebody. Governess. So ESS, this is a woman that helps govern children in somebody's home. Decompress. See how this could look like your suffix ESS? You could think maybe this is a woman, but that's why it's so important for you to study your Latin roots. Press is one of your main Latin roots that is in many, many words. This has two prefixes on this root. Prepossess. Possess is its very own word. See how ESS, that doesn't mean a woman right here. It doesn't mean a woman. It's its very own word. So you kind of have to be careful. And when you're looking at that, it could be a little bit confusing. These all look like ESS at the end, but you have to be careful to make sure that you're understanding what each one is. This is LESS, ESS, and NESS. Now we have recess. Is this meaning a woman?
No.
No, it doesn't.
And things like a break in school.
Very good. This is a Latin root with your prefix. How about excess? Is this mean a woman?
No.
No, this is another major root that you see in our language that has a chameleon prefix on there. Now we have actress, that means a woman that acts, and an actor, that means a man that acts. But in our culture, we are actually starting to get away from this. So oftentimes, and it just depends on the person, oftentimes it's moving, everybody is an actor. And we're moving away from this. But this, we are not moving away from. Princess means a girl that is a princess. Prince is a boy or a man. This is a woman or a man. So we are not moving away from this, but we are with this. If you think of a waiter is a man that waits on people, and we have a waitress that is a woman, we're moving away from that.
Basically a person who takes care of you at a restaurant.
Exactly. So if you look at this also, see how act right here, boys, I want you to really focus in right here. You have act and you have your suffix OR. But now we want to add our suffix. But look what happened here. This O is taken out and you add an R. That actually happens in lots of words where if you have the OR or the ER or something right here, when you're adding on ESS, you just have RESS and you don't have this in there. Okay? Does that make sense? I mean, it doesn't happen on every word, but it does happen often. It happens on waitress and waiter. Okay? So now let's look over here at profound. So we have a profoundness. Ooh. Profoundness. Now we look to see what our spelling rules are. Do we have a consonant, vowel, consonant? This is the accented syllable. No, so you just added it on. Is this a consonant, vowel, consonant? No, so we're just going to add it on. And it doesn't matter with vowel suffix. Illness, promptness. See how, just look at the last three letters. You know you can just add it on. And there's no E to drop, but here you have to be more careful. Right here, look, it's a silent E. Do we drop this silent E before we add on ness?
No.
You don't drop it. We're adding on a consonant suffix, so we're not dropping that E. So you just add it on. Unlike, do we just add it on, or do we drop that E?
You add it on.
You just add it on. This is a consonant suffix. So if we drop this E, it would say unlikeness, because that E is doing a job here. So now with the INGs, they can be very confusing, and they can be lots of different things. They can act as your verbs, your nouns, adjectives. They are progressive, tenses, participles. They are gerunds. See how INGs can be so very confusing? And so INGs they can go on base words, or they can be part of a base word, like sing. That is the base word. And then you can have singing, where you have an ING on top of an ING. And this is a unit sound, whether it's a base word, in a base word, or if it's acting as a suffix. It's a unit. All right? So we are going to add them on to all of these base words. And I only did one syllable words. So these will always be the accented syllable. These are the base words. And so we're going to do the spelling rules for these. All right, so now we're going to add ING to house. Do we drop this E? We do, because it is a vowel suffix, and we drop the E's when we're adding on a vowel suffix. The only times you have to be really careful with that is when you have a CE or a GE. We're going to add on ING to house. So we want to drop the E, right, and add on our Oh my gosh. Our I-N-G. And this says housing. So what do we need to do for this word?
Nothing to
Double
double
it.
it on.
You need to double it. So
Okay.
when we are doubling our words, we need to look, is it a vowel suffix? If it is, you better be looking, do I double it? If it's a consonant vowel consonant, especially on one syllable words, you need to be looking for the spelling rules. In multi-syllable words, you need to be looking for the Latin root or the accented syllable. But since we only have accented syllables in here, we're always going to be looking for the rules. So especially for the doubling rules, no matter what, on a multi-syllable word, you still have to follow the spelling rule. If you have an E, you drop the E, or if you have a Y, you have to follow those. But the doubling rule is different. But here's the accented syllable, so we are going to double it and add ing.
Just add it on.
Keep. We do add it on. It's not a CVC. So keeping. Keeping. How about turn?
Can you explain to us what a CVC is?
A consonant, vowel, consonant. So this, see how this is a consonant? This is a vowel, and then this is a consonant. So that makes sense, right? Oh, Daniel wanted to make sure that you guys understood that. So thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate that. So now turn. Do we need to do anything? No, we just add it on. It's not a consonant, vowel, consonant, so you're just adding it on. Close. What do we do here? What? Yeah, good, good. You drop the E and you add on ing. Closing. How about fish?
Add it.
Add it on. Read. Add it on. Now, as we're adding on all of these INGs, something is changing in these words. Okay? How about open? This is the accented syllable. I did one syllable words and I didn't do it on that one. So, wash. What about this one?
Add it on.
Add it on. You don't have a consonant, vowel, consonant, so we're just adding it on. There's no silent E, there's no Y to change. So we're just adding our suffix ing on.
Add it on.
Add it on. There's, see, vowel, vowel, consonant. You need a consonant, vowel, consonant. How about this one? Add it on. Now look at this. Well, why is that doubled? Well, it's because your base word is doubled. This follows a spelling rule right here. But this is doubled because it is the doubling rule. See the difference?
Drop.
Drive. Oh yeah, okay, good job. You drop the E and add your ing. How about this one, boys?
Double.
You do need to double it. It's a consonant, vowel, consonant. You double it. Okay, help. You just add it on. Helping. Wait, what do we do here, Dad?
Add it on.
You add it on. It's not a consonant, vowel, consonant, so you just add it on. Bank. Add it on. Not a consonant, vowel, consonant. No dropping the E. No changing the Y. How about this one? Cut.
Double it.
Double it. It's a consonant, vowel, consonant. It's accented, so you're doubling it. Win. What are we doing here?
Double it.
Double it. See, look. It's a consonant, vowel, consonant.
Double it.
Yes, sit. Consonant, vowel, consonant. So you're doubling it. Sitting. How about this one?
Just add it on.
Right. Okay, so see how, well, why is this doubled? It's because it's part of the base word. But why is this doubled?
Because this is CVC.
Yeah, it's a doubling rule. Mourn.
Just add it on.
Add it on. There's no consonant, vowel, consonant at the end. Nice. There's no consonant, vowel, consonant. So, depending on where you want to put this in a sentence is what, it could be a verb, it could be different things. INGs form verbs in the progressive tense. Now, the progressive tense It means you're moving forward always. I did not learn this in school. If you have a progressive tense, it will mean your participle, and it's sitting in the past, present, and future, and you know you have a verb. Now, also, it helps you with your auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. They're the same thing. And if you have an auxiliary verb in front of it, you know you have a progressive tense ing. And that will help you immensely. I think it's a disservice for you not to understand what progressive and perfect mean in a word. So when you have a helping verb right in front of your ing, then you have your verb. So that will be super helpful. If you don't have a helping verb in front, you most likely have a gerund or a participle somewhere else, but not your verb. Does that make sense, Dee? So washing. So we have, it's just added on. What's your base word there?
Wash.
Wash is your base word. So morning is early day. This right here is all one word. ing goes to that word, but this word is a suffix added onto this. It means sorrow. This is a homophone. Homophone, homo means what? What does it homo mean, Dan? No, homo means same. So homo means same. What does phone mean? It's homophone, so you're the same sounds. So these are the same sounds with a different spelling. That's what homophone means. Okay, here we have ing as it's in part of the word, and here you have ing as a suffix. So that could be confusing when you just think, well, maybe ings are all participles. They're not all participles. INGs are the doing. What did they do? I always ask my kids, what did they do to find your verb? So they are often verbs. INGs also look like they are always the verb, but they are not always the verb. So we're going to focus on your vowels. So I wanted to point out what this means so we get it down when we move forward. Console. It could either say console or council. People say it different ways. Government bond in Great Britain. This is a noun. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I wanted you to remember what console means. A government bond in Great Britain. All right? So a verb derived means to make a new linguistic form by attaching or changing the root or base word. So what that means, that you have your base word wash, and you're adding your ing to washing. So you're adding your suffix right there, and you're putting it on. Now you've derived your verb. Does that make sense, Dee? You're deriving your verb by adding either prefixes or suffixes onto that. Okay, so now the same thing that happens here. We have heave. That is your base word. And we just put upheave. We put a prefix up on this, upheave. Or now look, we're changing it. We've now added a suffix. So we have derived this base word into two different words. Does that make sense? You have your base and the understanding the meaning, but then this changes, the up changes the word a lot, and then this kind of changes it a little. All right, do you know something that I think is so interesting, you guys? Look at this. EG. What does EG stand for? It stands for example. That's the true abbreviation for example, but example starts with EX, right? But what does this stand for? Or what do you hear? Eggs, which is the sound you hear when you have EX when it's followed by a vowel. Whoops, it would be EXA, right? But you're hearing eggs, and I think it's interesting that they didn't use the EX, they used the sound, for example. Anyways, very interesting. You have some words that look like you have an ing unit sound in there, and this is not a unit sound in this word. Linguistics, it breaks right here, linguistics. This is not saying ing. It's not saying linguistics, it's saying linguistics, all right? So that can be a little bit confusing. This is not a unit sound right here. It actually breaks. Right. Console. This is a homophone from the other console. Now, this has multiple definitions, but I just put out one definition for now. It's one of 3 supreme magistrates of the French First Republic. And this happened in 1799 to 1804. Not a very long time that they had one of the 3 supreme magistrates. So that's one definition of consul. So also we have base words right here. And I'm going to focus on the suffix ship. Now we have ship, that is its very own word, and that means a ship that floats on water, right? But ship is also a suffix, okay? It's a suffix. As a suffix, it means quality, an act, a power, a skill. So now we have these nouns, or some of them might not be nouns, but most of these ones are nouns, all right? And we're gonna switch, when you put ship on, oftentimes it changes it into an abstract noun. So consul ship. Now we still look for your spelling rules, but you don't have to look as deeply when you're adding on a consonant suffix. So this makes your spelling rules so much easier because you are adding on a consonant suffix. Do you understand that, Dee? So where it becomes more difficult is when you're adding on a vowel suffix. So now we know these are all going to be consonant suffixes, so we don't have to look as deeply. If it doesn't have an E, then, if it doesn't have a Y, you won't have to change anything. The E's you don't drop when you add on consonant suffixes. You don't have the doubling rule. So now kingship, we're just gonna do, how are we gonna add on ship to this word? Yeah, we're just going to add it on. See how we have king, we had king, and now we're adding ship to it. So now look how that's power. It's talking about the power. So it's still a noun. See how you have the king ruled the kingdom. See how you have that main noun and you can see it. You have your king and then you have your verb ruled. But when you have an abstract noun like this, the kingship, and then you have to have most likely a prepositional phrase to help you understand what about the kingship. The kingship was given to another after the king died. So see how now it's changed and you have to have something else to make sense of the abstract noun, but they're still talking about the kingship, so that's still your subject, but it's abstract. You can't touch it anymore. See how you can touch the king, but you can't touch kingship physically. Does that make sense? So it's kind of fun to really see that. Consul is a person. You can touch it, but a consulship is like his job, and he has now he has power, right? He has the power to act in a certain way. Does that make sense? This is turned now into an abstract noun. The consulship was given to Daniel. because he had great qualities. Ha ha ha. Okay, so now we have kin, which is a noun, and we're going to add ship onto it. And we're switching that to an abstract noun. So we have the kinship. So see how, and then you're going to have probably a prepositional phrase. Now, sometimes you might even use it as an adjective or somewhere else in the sentence, but oftentimes they end up being abstract nouns to something. All right? Leader, we're going to do leadership, right? We're just going to add it on because it's a consonant suffix. And so we don't have to worry about the doubling rule because we're not adding on a vowel suffix. Vowel suffix is where that matters. So now, oh, we have a silent E. Do we have to do anything with this silent E in apostleship? No, we just add it on because we don't drop our E's if you're adding on a consonant suffix. Yeah, exactly, Paul.
But it's a vowel suffix. You have to.
Exactly.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's a CE or a GE. Then you have to be careful on the suffix you're adding on. So we're just going to add it on. So now we have an apostle to Jesus Christ. He had 12 apostles, right? Whoops. I put shis. And now he has, you're going to say, the apostle John or the apostle Paul. So you see how they're physical right there. Now you're adding ship on, the apostleship, and now it has changed right here. It's their act, right? It's their power that they have been given to talk to the people, right? So it's changing that. Statement, just add it on, statementship. Dealer, dealership. Censor. Do we need to do anything with that before we add ship on? No, just add it on. But this censor is a person. And when we're adding ship on, it's changed it to be abstract. Okay? Author, authorship. Fellow. Oh, what a nice fellow. Okay? So, but now we have fellowship. It's giving a meaning. It's a quality. That would be probably a quality. Hardship.
Hardship means that you're like having a hard time in your life.
Yeah, this is hard. Now, when you, this is hard work. So when you say hard work, hard is actually an adjective, right? And you're switching it. The hardship. Now you switched it to an abstract noun, yeah. Lord, lordship. Okay, so you have the Lord, right? Our Savior, the Lord, came, and now he is in his lordship, doing the work. And now this has become abstract. Okay? Member, membership. This is a person, now it's become an abstract noun, the membership. Relation, relationship. Champion, see how this is a person, championship. It's become abstract. Steward, it's a person, stewardship. It's abstract. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? Partner. Do we need to do anything for partner?
No.
No, just add it on. Partnership. Town. This is a noun, but now we have the township. It's abstract. Penman. Yeah, honey. So we have penman. It's actually a person. Like, what was his name?
Writers.
It's somebody that writes a lot. So what was the name for, we just said? James Madison.
Yeah.
He was the penman for the United States. He was actually nicknamed that. And his penmanship was very nice. It was legible for everybody to read, right? Clerk, clerkship. Workman, Workmanship. See how this is person, and this is his quality of how he works. Okay? Scholar. So Will is a scholar, right? And he received a scholarship to progress his scholar. So you can't touch the scholarship, right?
Is there?
But you can touch the scholar. So now you have sportsman, sportsmanship. Friend, friendship. What do you think friendship would fit under? Quality, act, power, or skill? I think it's a quality. And you could probably act as a friend, but it's the way you treat your friend. It's a friendship. A disciple.
Like of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so what are we going to do here? How are we going to add on our suffix? We have an E. Do we drop it?
No.
No, we don't. You only drop it if it's a vowel suffix. Right? Discipleship. You were a disciple. You are a disciple of Jesus Christ. Now, the discipleship that you have chosen to follow him, it's changed, right? Okay. So now, let's read it again. Ship as a suffix means quality, act, power, or skill. So we have a court, ship. A citizen, so you have you're a citizen of the United States, right? And you're going to receive your citizenship. You're a companion. So it's a noun. You're going to receive your companionships. Craftsman. It's a person. A craftsmanship. What kind of quality of craftsmanship does he do? It's a skill that he has. Okay, we have guardian. So guardian is somebody that takes care of somebody else. It's typically somebody that maybe is disabled, but it's definitely somebody that is taking care of children. And so like I have guardianship over Daniel and Paul. Richard has guardianship over Daniel and Paul. But I could also have guardianship over somebody that is in my care. So that is a person. But now look, I'm going to add ship onto it. And it puts it into an abstract. The guardianship was difficult. The guardianship was awesome. Now remember, if you can put an article in front of it, an article, they are... Can you see right here though?
Yeah.
So, an, or the. And I use the most of the time because if you can use the in front of a word and it makes sense, you have a noun. Almost always, always, always. These articles set up a noun to come on. Now, sometimes you might have an adverb, but that is very rare. I mean, you have to really look for it to see that. So if you can put the in front of it, you know you are using it as a noun. Okay? Now, I thought this was really fun. Worship. What does worship mean?
Praise.
What's that?
Praise.
Yeah, you're praising God. Yeah, exactly. But I thought that this was interesting. So we're not just adding it on to your WOR. It's actually worth plus ship. And this actually started in the 1300s. I thought that was really interesting. And that's where you get worship. You take out the TH. And it's when they're worshiping God. And he has so much worth. And that's why you're giving him, he has the power and the skill. He has the quality to be able to be worshiping him, right? What does ship mean? As a suffix, it means a quality, an act, a power, or a skill, and it changes nouns, oftentimes, probably most of the time, into abstract nouns. Something physical, turning it into something that you cannot touch anymore with your physical hands or your eyes or something, you can't see it. Okay, so now let's go back into ing. So we have ing, they are present participles, they are gerunds, Sometimes they act as nouns. Gerunds act as nouns. But sometimes they also act as adjectives, okay? So INGs, they're present participles, they're gerunds, they act as nouns, they're adjectives. All right, does that make sense? What's an adjective? Do you guys remember?
It describes a noun.
Right, adjectives describe nouns. They can only describe a noun. So if you have a noun and you can put the in front of it and you're trying to figure out, well, is that a noun or not? And you're wanting to describe that, then you know you have an adjective if you can see that you have your noun, right? Let's say the craftsman, right? The amazing craftsman. Amazing is the adjective because it's describing craftsman, right? The skillful craftsman. Skillful is a what? What is skillful? An adjective.
Yeah.
Because adjectives can only describe nouns. They can't describe any other word. Did you have a question? Okay. They can't describe any other word. So now let's go into counsel. These words are huge confusables. And so let's go over them. These need to be memorized, boys. You need to study these as definitions in your vocabulary words, and you need to have them memorized how to spell, or you won't get these right. Okay? So this kind of counsels, look, C-I-L, it has a vowel L. Look how these all have vowel L's, but they're all different. I-L, E-L, U-L, O-L, and our main suffix is an A-L. So, Paul, these are homophones. Okay?
Yeah.
Are these homographs?
No.
No, because homo means what?
The same.
Phone means
Uh,
sound.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the same sound. They're spelled different, but homographs or homographs, they sound the same and they're written down the same. Exactly, because graph means to write or record. So they're the same spelling, but they mean this different. All right? So, counsel. This counsel is the gathering of people for consultation. So this is what kind of noun? A group of people, and it's called what? A collective noun. And we talked about this in another lesson. This is a collective noun that takes the singular most of the time. Most of your collective nouns take the singular verb. All right? So you don't put plural onto it. So, onto the plural verb, it will take the singular. So that's a group of people that are gathered together to give consultation. This kind of counsel is consultation, advice, or guidance. My mother gave me advice when I broke up with my boyfriend or something like that. That would be that kind of counsel. But this kind of counsel is when a whole group of people get together. Okay, now a counsel, this could either be consul or counsel. That's why this is confusing. You hear this both ways. A lot of people call it counsel, but this is a diplomat residing in a foreign country. So, and I had that up here. So this is another definition. And this one is more in the past. But this one is happening right now. This is a noun. This, it is also a noun. So if you could put, like, see how we could put, the counsel came together. But this one is the counsel my mother gave me. See, this is also a noun. This is a person. The council came to visit our state. This is consul or council. This is a government bond in Great Britain. And we brought that one up already. Okay? But I just wanted to put them all together right here. The AL, which is most of the, that's how we use our suffix, but not every word with the AL will be a suffix. Yeah, honey?
So you were saying, like, the counsel my mother gave me. Like, what does that mean?
Oh, well, it's, look, it means advice.
Oh.
Yeah.
like a family council.
Yeah.
Like,
But a family council would be this, a gathering of people for consultation.
oh yeah, that's true.
Does that make sense? So a family council would be this one, but the council that you went to somebody and they gave you advice, the counsel my mother gave me would be this one. Does that make sense? All right, any other questions? Okay, so INGs are the trickiness of tricky. So we're going to go into gerunds and help us understand what a gerund is. Do you guys even know what a gerund is? So gerunds, they can only be ing words, okay? That has a suffix onto it, all right? But let's talk about it. Gerunds are used in noun phrases, direct objects, indirect objects, object of the preposition, and predicate nominatives. Now, well, what are those? Those are positions in your sentence that nouns sit in. So if you know where all of these are, you will be able to find your gerund. If you understand the structure of a sentence, you're going to be able to say, oh, that's a gerund, and you'll be able to find it. That's why I like diagramming so much, because it's so fun. It's like putting a puzzle together, the different parts of speech in our language, which is, I think, is quite fun. Don't you guys think so? Yeah? Okay, so now we have gerunds act as nouns. So if you can replace it with a pronoun, you have a gerund. What is a pronoun? Yeah. He, she, it, they, them, their. Now we're going to go over pronouns in another lesson, but you need to know what your pronouns, they replace nouns. He replaces Daniel, all right? So, okay, now gerunds come from a verb but act like a noun. They look like a verb. They look like they're doing something, but they're actually acting like a noun. Yeah, honey?
Like she replaces Lisa.
Yeah, exactly. That's what pronouns do. Good, Paul. Thank you. So anything a noun can do, a gerund can do. Because a gerund is a noun with the suffix ing added onto a verb. So does that make sense? What does a gerund do?
If it has an ing and it's on a noun, it's a gerund.
Well, it looks like it's on a verb. They sit on verbs. Ing looks like it's a verb.
But it's a noun.
But it's a noun. Gerunds are nouns. Okay? So it's not all INGs. They are nouns. Because INGs can play several different roles in our language. But if you want it to be a gerund, or if you're trying to look for a gerund, it will be sitting in a noun position in your sentence. Yeah. So gerunds cannot be verbs, adjectives, or adverbs. Now, what is a verb?
Action.
An action. It shows an action,
State of being.
shows a state of being.
Links two words together and helps another.
Nice, very good. Now, adjectives modify nouns. They describe your noun. Adverbs are tricky. What do adverbs do? Thank you, Daniel.
And they,
What do they describe?
verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs.
Nice. Exactly. Thank you, Daniel. So that's what a gerund is. What is a gerund, boys?
A gerund is a noun with an ing.
Exactly. A gerund acts like a noun, looks like a verb, is sitting on an ing. It's so confusing. What's that? What is a gerund?
A gerund is a noun.
It is a noun
ing on the end of it.
with the suffix ing. It will sit in noun position in a word. Nice. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to look at ing as a present participle. Okay? Present participle, they form the progressive tense, which is the continuous tense. Moves on, forward. Okay? It's continuing on. If you're using an ing suffix and it's moving forward, then you know you have the progressive tense. Now, progressive tense I didn't ever learn this in school, and I think it's such a disservice not to understand what a progressive tense means, what a perfect tense means, because it will help you so much for you to actually structure your sentence properly and know which helping verbs to choose and put on your tenses. So progressive tenses continue on, perfect tenses stop, right? They are sitting in the past. That's your past tense participles. But present participles are the INGs. But it's more confusing. INGs have many different purposes. Okay? Now you have present participles. Always have one or more helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. Helping verbs are the exact same thing as auxiliary verbs. Okay? So when you hear, oh, that's an auxiliary verb, what is it? It's a helping verb, right? But they have INGs to it. So present participles always have one or more helping verbs or the auxiliary verbs with the ING. Okay, so that means these are all of your helping verbs, but they sit in categories. So we have the B section, which are your be verbs, and the be verbs can stand alone or they can also be linking verbs. So we have am, is, are, was, were, be, been, and been. So, and then we have the section have, has, had. And these will also tell you if it's going to be past, present, or future. Okay, do is do, does, did, and then you have your modal verbs. Shall, will, could, should, would, can, may, might, and must. All right. And you have more linking verbs than this, but I did these just because those are also your helping verbs and your auxiliary verbs, and that's what you need to memorize. For your basic grammar, you have to have these memorized. ING form of a verb, so that means you have an ING on a verb, has a noun, adjectival, and adverbial use. That means that ING can be used as an adjective or an adverb. That's what that means. But also, present participles are used in adjectival or adverb phrases. So when you have them in, and they have extra words that go with the head of the adjective or the adverb. So what is a phrase? You have to know what a phrase is. You're going to have different kinds of phrases. You're going to have a noun phrase, verb phrase, prepositional phrases. There's lots of different kinds of phrases. So a phrase is a small group of words that doesn't have a simple subject or a simple predicate to form a complete sentence. A simple subject and a simple predicate, you're going to have a complete sentence or you're going to have it in a clause. And so the phrase doesn't have both of those, and you need both of those to have a complete sentence. So let's go up and we're going to talk about your vowel L and how to understand that a little bit better. So now we have navel and navel. This is a homophone. What does homo mean? Same. And what does phone mean? Sound. So it's the same sound. So we have these sound the same, spelt different, right? Have different meanings. So our AL in the English language is the only suffix that comes in the English language. So if you see all of the other vowel L's, E, I, O, and U, with attached to the L, it's going to connect to your regular word. It's not going to be a suffix. Now that doesn't mean some ALs are not going to be in with its regular word also, boys, but these ones right here won't be suffixes. Okay? So if you look at navel equals belly button. Okay? So that's your belly button. And this navel means navy. But the Latin root, NAV, it means boat. But so here we know that this Latin root is the Latin root because it has your suffix. But this one doesn't, so this is not the root. Does that make sense? Is that super helpful? So now we have tell. This means communicate information. I'm telling you this information. And we have tell. This means from a distance, and it's Greek meaning tele, like a telephone or a telegraph. Yeah, see that okay? Okay, so we're gonna come down in here and we have flywheel. Is this a vowel L? Now vowel L's are closed syllables. So is this a vowel L? Is it a closed syllable in flywheel? It's not. This is a vowel team. And you hear wheel. So you're gonna be able to break things apart and say the correct word. So now remember, your vowel L syllables turn to schwa. So this is saying E when your schwa would say O. Yeah, honey.
For vowel teams, don't you not do anything with them?
Well, they just say E, wheel. Okay, so is this a closed syllable, the vowel L? No, this is a vowel team. It says wheel. How about this one?
No.
Daniel says no. What do you say? Is this a vowel L syllable?
Yes. No, it's vowel.
I mean, not a vowel L syllable. Is this a vowel L closed syllable?
Isn't it a vowel team?
Okay, so this is a vowel L, boys. This looks like it could be the vowel team IE, but it is not. And I can't even pronounce this as a vowel team. Ariel, you can't even say it. And so when something like that happens and you're not sure, is this a vowel L or is this a vowel team, try to pronounce it. And if you can't, you know you're gonna have to break this apart. And it breaks right here. Whoops, right in between that I and E. So it says air, E, ol. And see how you can hear that turning to schwa. It is not accented, and so it says it's schwa sound. So, wheel, we just went over that. Is this a vowel L?
A vowel team.
This is a vowel team, wheel. Is this a vowel L?
Vowel team.
It's a vowel team, kneel. See, it's saying the E sound because this is a vowel team. Motel.
Vowel L.
This is a vowel L. How about gravel? Vowel L. So obviously if you see it by consonant, you're going to know that it's a vowel L, right? How about novel? Okay, now we have level. Is that a vowel L, closed syllable?
Yes.
It is. And it says it's schwa sound. Schwa. Novel. Gravel. Jewel. It's a vowel L. Okay? So now sometimes you are going to get it to be accented. And you're not going to have as many words with your vowel L's as you will the ALs. With the E, I, O, and U, you're not going to have as many words with those as you will with the AL. They're in so many more words. That's why I say if you absolutely have to guess, is it an AL, UL, IL, OL, and you have to guess, you guess an AL because they're in the majority of the words. But look it up if you can. If you have the opportunity to look it up, look it up. So I thought this was interesting. This is L, and this is actually how you spell the letter L, which is kind of fun. Now this is impel. So this is not saying the vowel L sound because this is the Latin root. So it's going to say its short sound because this is accented. All right. Now we have a couple, let's say hard cell. Okay. Wimbrel. So we have these words, but here are some confusable words. And I wouldn't call them homophones. I would just call these ones confusables because they don't sound, these are not homophones because homophones sound the same. And this says angel, right? It's a spiritual being. But look how it's spelled with an G-E-L. But then we have angle with a G-L-E. And it's a corner, a slope. So remember how to spell those. Okay, these are confusables. Now let's go over to FUL. If you see a UL, you just don't see them as much. You're going to mostly see them in your suffix FUL, okay? Which means full of whatever the base word is. Like this is joyful, and it's just spelled FUL, and it's full of joy. But you do have words like console or counsel. It's pronounced both ways. Okay, now we have kistful. See how we have FUL, and this is your base word. It's like a chest. And blue. They all say mall. And this is your vowel L right here. Your UL, what we're talking about. You don't find these as often. This says mall. Now, if you're spelling mall this way, M-O-L-L, and that's how you would think you would maybe spell mall, because it sounds like that, but we know, we've studied our unit sounds, so we know A-L-L is all is A-L-L. But if you see it like this way, it is a female criminal. Now, mall this way is a retail complex. But a maul this way is a big heavy hammer. You see that big heavy hammer that Daddy uses? I can't barely.
Sledgehammer?
Yeah, it's like a big heavy hammer that you use. But that's actually called a mole. And it is a vowel L right there.
That is weird.
And this almost looks, it could maybe even be used as a vowel team. Okay, so now we have console again. Myominositol. Now look, this one is saying ah. It's not going to schwa. So this estradiol is also, you can't hear the vowel L as much here, but when you have a vowel, an OL, oftentimes it's going to be in the chemistry, the science world, and so they're going to be harder to find in our language, but we do have them, but not as much. These ones will be really hard and something that we do not speak on a regular basis in the English language, okay? Plastisol. Same with this one. That's in the science world. We have pistol. Now this one is in our regular speaking. It's a gun. It's a small handgun. Phenol, podstol, capital, we're going to go over that. That's fun. So that is in our language that we use often. So here we're in taxol. This is in the science world. Mongol. Now this is a place. And tool. Is this a vowel L closed syllable?
It's a vowel team.
It is a vowel team. So you will have those also where it kind of looks like it could be a vowel L and it's not. It's part of a vowel team. So your ILs, if they're not accented, they are going to turn to the schwa sound. Trochel, peril, bezel, bezel. Now these right here, they're the same word. Okay, they kind of work together and they're spelt I-L or E-L. It depends on where you come from or what you're going to use. Penicil, kind of like penicillin, penicil, pupil. See how it's saying the schwa sound? Civil, devil. I-L you get quite a bit more with I-L than you get with some of the others. Council. Email, is that a vowel L?
Vowel team.
It is a vowel team on this one. So this is not a vowel L closed syllable. This is a vowel team syllable. So how about sky cell?
No.
No, that is not. This is a vowel team syllable, not a vowel L closed syllable. Top cell, what about that one?
No.
Nope. A-I-I-L. How about pot boil? No, that's not your vowel L closed syllable, it's going to make the oi sound in this one. So kind of look for your vowel teams. Are they sitting in a vowel team? Memorize your vowel teams and it'll help you. Re-oil. What about this one? Is it a vowel team or a vowel L syllable?
Vowel team.
This is a vowel team. So you're not going to have your vowel L closed syllable. How about this one? Spoil.
Vowel team.
That is a vowel team. So it's going to say oi. Trail.
Vowel team.
Vowel team. Frail.
Team.
Vowel team. How about until?
Oh, no, vowel.
That is a closed syllable. So it is not a vowel L that's turning to schwa. Because this is the accented syllable right here. So I think you guys will find this incredibly fascinating. And I really want my boys to know this. Because I was not taught this. Okay? Capital with an AL. Capital with an OL. What's the difference? Now let's talk about this. Capital with an AL refers to money, the death penalty. We have capital cities that house a seat of government. So what would be the capital city of New York?
Albany.
Albany. So that would be spelt with an AL. What's the capital city of Idaho?
Boise.
Boise. So that would be spelt, when I say the capital city, I want the capital city. If we're referring to that, we're spelling it with an AL. Okay? What's the capital city of Utah?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. So what's the capital city of Mississippi? Jackson, Mississippi. Okay? What's the capital city of, and that would be this AL. What's the capital city? How about Oregon? Salem.
Salem, Oregon.
How about California?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Okay, so that's, you would spell that with an AL. But this with an OL is a building in which the legislative body of government meets. So if you think about that, it's the actual building. Okay? And you also spell it, when you want to say Capitol Hill, you spell it, the actual building is on the hill. So you spelled Capitol Hill with an OL.
So, like, would a courthouse be one?
No, it has to be the actual capital. So the capital city, so the capital city right here, let's say the capital city of Oregon is Salem, right? And so we spell it that way, but when we refer to the Capitol building, the actual building, I want to go to the Capitol building in Salem. So this is where this capital will be considered the city, the state capital. But when you're talking about its building, you're going to spell it this way. Yeah. Every capital city in the States, in the United States, will have a Capitol building that will be called Capitol Hill, and it is spelt this way when you're referring it to the building or you're referring it to Capitol Hill. Okay? But when you're talking about the capital as a city, you're going to be spelling it this way. Does that make sense? Okay. So, but if we're referring to it as the capital of the United States, this is what the actual building is called. The Capitol, see how it's spelled with an OL, building. That's what we call our Capitol building of the United States.
Okay, that makes sense now.
What is the capital? If I say, what is the capital of New York City? You say Albany, right? So that's what is spelled this way. But inside of that city, there is going to be a Capitol building that's sitting on Capitol Hill in Albany. Okay, and it's spelled this way. All right? Now, as a suffix, AL means relating to. That's when you add that on, it means relating to. So AL changes verbs to nouns, and this is an example. Renew, plus AL, you go to renewal. So see how this is a verb? I will renew the subscription. You're adding the AL and you say, the renewal of their subscription is finished. Okay? So AL changes nouns and bond bases into adjectives. So what is a bond base? A bond base is a base word or a root really that cannot be complete without its suffix. So you will see bond bases in lots of Latin roots because like mit, M-I-T, you can't just use the word mit because M-I-T-T is the catcher's mitt. M-I-T is your Latin root and you need suffixes and prefixes and suffixes to make that word complete. So that's what bond bases mean. So AL changes nouns and bond bases into adjectives. So incidental, incident plus AL means incidental. Now you're taking a noun and you're changing it into an adjective. So it can do that also. Upheave plus AL, upheaval, you're taking a verb and you're switching it to a noun. Now this is super interesting. Caput, it is Latin, caput, which means head. So when you think about that, see this is a bond base. This doesn't really make sense. You have to have the AL on this to make it a word. But it has a Latin root that means head. And so if you think about the capital, it's the head of the state. It's the head, the Capitol building is the head of the United States. That's where everybody goes to govern the United States. That's where people go to govern their state, is at their Capitol building, right? Also, look what's really fun and interesting. So we have capital letters. And if you think about our capital letters, where do they belong? Where do you see them? At the beginning of sentences. They are at the head of the sentence. Where else do you see them? Proper nouns. They're in proper nouns. So we have common nouns like kitchen, and then we have proper nouns. Or let's say we have common nouns like boy, and then we have proper nouns like Daniel. Daniel would be capitalized. So we have common nouns like girl, common nouns like girl, and then we have proper nouns like Lisa. So Lisa is my name, it's more, it's at the head, okay? So we have capital letters and lowercase letters, and that will help you understand these capital letters have a significance in our language. And that's why it said it's using the Latin root for kappa. Okay, so we're going to go through the alphabet because I think some of you need that, that are learning English. So we have A and A. A is the long sound and A is the short sound. B, B, C, K. And then C also has S when it's followed by an E, I, or a Y. D, D, E is its long sound. E is its short sound. F, F, G, G, or it could say its short sound or its soft sound, J, if it's followed by an E, I, or a Y. H, I, I, so its long sound is I and its short sound is I. J, J, K, K, L, U, M, N, N, O, says its long sound for O, and A for the short sound. P, P, Q, Qu, R, S, S, T, T, U for its long sound, A for its short sound, V, V, W, W, X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z. Okay, so that's really fun when you think about it. Why these are called capital letters. You guys think that's kind of interesting? I think it's fantastically interesting. So fun to study. Okay, so now we are going to talk about some words with the AL that, like corporal, you have to have the AL on here to make the word complete. Mural, final. So if you take that off, it wouldn't say fin. So this isn't a suffix right here. Seminole, ticle, nopal, madrigal, and this is actually this is a name also with another meaning. But is this an AL right here, you guys? A closed syllable, vowel L?
No, it's a vowel team.
It is a vowel team. So it says O, goal. How about this one, dismissal?
Yes.
Yeah, that is. This is a suffix. Dismiss is your base word. Miss is your root. How about veal? What about this one?
Vowel team.
This is a vowel team, you're right. I really hope you guys had really enjoyed this lesson, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.